Why the crash may already be happening. You ever notice how, just before a storm hits, everything feels calm? That eerie quiet, when the birds go silent and the sky turns gray. That's Florida right now. Not the weather, the housing market. Everyone's still smiling, still buying, still believing it'll all keep going up. But underneath? The pressure's building. We're not talking about a soft dip in prices. What's coming could make 2008 look like a warm-up. The signs are everywhere, if you know where to look. Prices have soared. But reality hasn't. Over the last few years, Florida homes haven't just appreciated, they've skyrocketed. We're talking about home prices going up over 40% since 2020. Sounds like great news, right? Well, not exactly, because while prices jumped, wages barely crept up. In many areas, wage growth didn't even hit 25%. That gap? It's the early warning siren. If you bought a $300,000 home in 2020, it might be worth $440,000 now. But if incomes didn't keep up, who's left that can afford to buy it from you? The Economist, no one's listening to Ken Johnson, a respected real estate economist at Florida Atlantic University, has been sounding the alarm. He's not some doomsday YouTuber chasing clicks. He's a numbers guy, and his numbers are terrifying. In fact, 9 out of the top 15 most overpriced housing markets in the country are in Florida. Not just overpriced, overheated. And according to Johnson, these prices aren't being driven by healthy growth. They're being driven by panic, scarcity, and desperation. And we've seen how that ends before. The insurance meltdown nobody talks about. This isn't just a housing bubble, it's a perfect storm. After back-to-back hurricanes, Ian, Nicole, and others, private insurers are bailing out of Florida. Citizens Property Insurance, the state's backup option, now holds nearly 700,000 policies. That's not normal. That's not stable. That's the safety net tearing apart. When you can't get insurance, you can't get a mortgage. When buyers can't get mortgages, prices fall fast. This is exactly what we saw in 2008. Except back then, insurance wasn't the trigger. Now it is. Florida's mirage of demand is fading. Yes, people have been flocking to Florida, retirees, remote workers, families escaping higher tax states. But here's what no one tells you. Just as many are leaving. High prices, rising insurance costs, unlivable property taxes. The dream of palm trees and sunshine fades quickly when your mortgage eats up 60% of your income, before flood insurance, before repairs, before the next hurricane season. And investors? They're already exiting. Quietly, carefully, offloading homes in second-tier markets before anyone notices. The first places that crack. You won't see Miami Beach collapse first. You'll see it in Port St. Lucie, Cape Coral, Palm Bay, places where buyers stretched thin just to get a foothold. Look at the listings. Homes that once had bidding wars are now sitting. Price cuts are common. Open houses are empty. This isn't a market taking a breather. It's a market gasping for air. And yet, sellers are still holding on to fantasy prices, clinging to what Zillow said their house was worth in the spring. Climate is here, not coming. This part's harder to hear, but it needs to be said. Florida isn't just expensive, it's becoming uninsurable. FEMA's redrawing flood maps. Properties once considered safe are now flagged as high-risk zones. And when that letter arrives in the mail saying you need mandatory flood insurance, that's going to be the final straw for a lot of families. Climate refugees aren't just coming to Florida. They're starting to flee from Florida. The heat, the flooding, the storms. It's not theoretical. It's now. The math is broken. And buyers know it. The median home price in Miami-Dade now sits over $600,000, but the median household income? About $70,000. That doesn't pencil out. Not in any market. Not in any era. The cost of ownership, mortgage, insurance, taxes, maintenance is pushing people past the breaking point. And younger generations? They remember what happened to their parents in 2008. They aren't buying this time. What happens next? And why you should care. So what does this mean for you? If you own property in Florida, it's time to ask tough questions. What's your insurance situation? What's your flood risk? Can your area withstand a migration slowdown or even a reversal? If you're thinking about buying, do the math. Don't rely on the hype. Look at fundamentals: local wages, population growth, insurance availability, flood maps. And if you're on the fence, consider this. Smart money already left. Desperate money is trying to sell. And there are fewer buyers left every day. Final thought. Everyone believes their area is the exception, that their property is different. But that's exactly what everyone said in 2008, right before the bottom fell out. The Florida housing market isn't about to crash. It's already shifting, quietly, slowly. And then, all at once. The question isn't if this bubble bursts. The question is, will you still be holding the bag when it does? Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. If this opened your eyes, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more people who need to hear this. And if you want more real estate breakdowns, economic red flags, and insider market insights, make sure to subscribe. We dig deep so you don't get blindsided. And now we want to hear from you. What's your take on Florida's housing situation? Do you live there? Are you planning to buy? Or are you already planning your exit? Drop a comment below and let's talk about what's really going on in the Sunshine State.